scorching hot week this week. Second heat week, I think they're calling it. And then next week it's meant to be pretty hot as well. So yeah, it's just been another week really of just watering, prepping flowers for deliveries and cutting really late in the evening. So I got a little bit of disappointing news today. I think one of the markets I've been doing for just over a year, I think I'm going to have to knock it on the head. It's really sad. It's a nice little market, but all the markets I do are struggling. And if I look in my finances year on year on year, they're pretty much half every year to what I took the year before. Each market, I can guarantee I'll take roughly half to what I took the year before. And it's not just me. I speak to a lot of stallholders and they're all really struggling. And I do get it. Times are really tough at the moment and price of living and everyone's struggling and all businesses struggling. But I have to make some tough decisions because as much as I want to stay loyal to the markets and I want to really support them, I went there today and after the cost of my fuel and the pitch, I took just over £10. You know, how it just can't. You can't carry on like that. It's just not sustainable, if I'm being honest. So I've got to, I've got to put my business head on. I've got to think of ways of getting my flowers to the people that do want them, and at a price that's going to earn me some money. And I do think that is a viable business, but I think you've got to really look into your clientele and what's around you and stuff. And I love doing the markets, but I've got to put my business head on. That's the bit I struggle with. I like doing the growing. I'm not so good at the books. Or the planning. Or the marketing. Yeah, maybe I should just become a gardener. So I've set myself up a little workstation in the only bit of shade we have in the whole field. But I really love this bit in the summer because it does go really shady from about midday. So I can come down and still do a bit of like picking on or potting on and bits and pieces like that. So the last couple of days I've actually started picking out some of my seedlings. And I was really worried about picking them out in this heat, whether they would survive. But I've been picking them out in the late afternoon so that they have the evening to try and de-stress before the next day of heat. And all in all, they're actually not looking too bad. So I'm pretty pleased with that. So I just wanted to show you what I do with my selling plants when it's as hot as this, because obviously they are in small 1 litre, 2 litre pots. They're not very big at all. I have downsized my selling stuff. I've literally stripped it right back down to just some perennial stuff. But I thought I'd just show you how I water them and just to show you guys, for any of you that are just new to gardening, if you've been gardening a while, this is probably all stuff that you know, so I appreciate that. But if you are new to gardening, just some tips on how you can give your plants a really thorough watering with not using a hose pipe and also not wasting your water. Very simple, very easy. It is time consuming for me, but it kind of just means they definitely get through the day, and yeah, overall it's not time consuming, if that makes sense. I'll show you what I do. So you can see these plants have gone quite limp. I haven't dunked today. I did dunk yesterday. You can see they've gone really limp, and you know, they're fully dried up. I mean, in this heat, Doesn't matter how wet you get them, within 24 hours that they're that dry. And I could stand there for ages with a hose pipe trying to re-moisten that, and it's just, you're never going to do it. You have got the option, the other option is you can stand, if you've only got a couple, you can stand them in a tray of water and it will soak up from the bottom. But trying to stand all these in a tray is just a nightmare. So what I do is I get a big bucket of water. I keep the barrels topped up so that I can get the bucket easy, and just get them and just give them a good old dunk. And the best thing about this is, if you're careful and don't get the leaves wet, you can do this early afternoon. It's not really going to hurt the plant, especially if you've got a bit of shade and you can put it in. So if you've got things in the greenhouse that are really struggling, you can do this in a hosepipe band. You can do this with your hanging baskets. Check this out, guys. All lovely and wet. That's going to give you about 24 hours of watering. So there you have it, guys. I've managed to water all 3 of these pallets with just over 3 bucketfuls. Now 1 bucketful is about 1 watering can, so I'd say I used a bit extra. So I'd probably say I used a good 4 watering cans for all 3 pallets. And it took me about 25 minutes. I don't think that's too bad, to be fair. I don't think that's too bad. So like I said, you can use this on your hanging baskets, take them down. Just be aware, if it's still very hot and you're really dunking it and all the leaves are getting wet, this is an ideal location, partly why it's here. These guys get a bit of shade in the afternoon. So if you're going to take your hanging baskets down and do it, either do it like later or just put them in a bit of shade and then put them back up later. But yeah, hopefully that's helped. So we have a big oak tree up by the house, a really lovely big one, and every spring we always end up with loads of oak saplings. And I've tried in the past to try and pick them out and see if they'll grow. It'd be really lovely to be able to plant an oak tree down the bottom. Never really had any luck, but this little fella was growing in this border. So I thought, oh, scoop him up, put him in a pot, and look at those roots. I'm so happy. I think I might be slightly over watering him. It looks quite dry on top, but it is quite wet on the bottom. But I think I might actually get some proper tree compost and yeah, let's see if we can get one to grow. So now I've got to figure out what to call him, because I feel like he needs a bit of a name, because I feel like he might be my new pet project. finally got round to weeding, wow, that massive thistle, the salvias. Now, we lost 7 plants in the winter, so I've still got 14 left. These are going to take a year or 2 to get up to a good size. I think I'm going to buy in those other 7 and try and replace them. So I've kind of weeded, but I haven't dug out the roots as such of the weeds, not all of them. I pulled out what I can because I don't want to disturb the soil too much and dry it out. But at the same time, they were getting so choked up that they just needed to be cleared out, really. We are getting really low on water. We do have another tank behind the back, and that's only half full. So between the two, we are probably looking at our last week of water. The clary is still alive, but it is struggling. It's really struggling, and I think I've made the decision to just let it go. It's an annual, and given the water situation, I need to really prioritize the perennials. So I think this one is just going to have to be left. And yeah, the bees can just enjoy it for the last few days. The lavender and the sedum has only been watered once this week. And yeah, I mean, so far they're surviving. But also, check this out. So these are the plants that were ate by the deer, and now they're trying to reshoot some flowers. So yeah, really chuffed to see this. So definitely haven't lost them, and it looks like they might even try and put something up for this year. So that'd be great if they did, because I could use them for wreath making. I tried to start bringing over some jerry cans to try and eke out the water, and it literally just snapped with the weight. I mean, they're a bit old, but yeah. And then all that water, I couldn't do anything with it because I couldn't lift it, and it just kept breaking. So that just ended up in a puddle. So that was a waste of time. With the situation with the water, we've got to the end of the week. We've got about 1 more watering left, and then by Wednesday next week, we're on Saturday today, by Wednesday next week, we will have to find a way of getting some water into the field. So I've been trying to think of some options, and one option is to try and pump it from the van into the tank. Another option is to try and just carry it in with watering cans. I attempted jerry cans, but my jerry cans broke, so then I'd have to reinvest in jerry cans. So do I put the money out on a pump? I've been looking into iron hell, because I do love my iron hell, and they do one for about £80, but I was speaking to my big bro, and he just doesn't think it's going to be like enough force to actually get it across. So I'll show you where the van is parked and how far it's going to come. It's not very far, but he just doesn't think it's going to be enough force. So I don't want to waste the money and it doesn't end up being any good. So I think we're looking to relay it in from some water tanks from the van in for the field in watering cans. Yeah, it's going to be a mission. It's going to be a mission. So this is the second water tank, which is at the back of the shed. The 2 watering tanks have their own side of the shed, so each one takes up half the shed. And long term, the plan is to bring over 2 more tanks and have them, instead of having these 2 set up on it, we'll have another tank set up on it and the same on the other side. So then we'll effectively have 4 tanks. I'm not sure that the shed will produce enough rainfall for it to fill 4 tanks, but hopefully it'll feel like 1.5, so we just still have a good solid 3,000 litres to start the summer off. So from this tank, if I just scan around, here's the hedge. Now, my van is parked. I zoom in, hopefully you can just make it out, or not. Well, just see a little bit of silver. So that's my van. So I think we could get a pipe, like a hose pipe, through the hedge. I definitely think we could. Like there's quite a lot of gaps there. I think we could get a pipe through the hedge. So it's just trying to find a pump that would be strong enough. Now a friend said to me, just get a hose pipe and suck on the end and let gravity do it. And I was just like, I thought he was joking. I honestly thought he was joking. I was like, you're not being real. Like, yeah, you can just suck on the end of a hose pipe and then suck the water up and put it in the tank and it will start like, I'm like, yeah, no, just no. Okay, no. Surely people do not do this, right? You do not get a dirty hose pipe. Surely not. No. He's winding me up.